Well, this is relatively sad. Um, we'll go grab something in a bit. It's not the end of the world. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to each and every one of you. And of course, if you're watching us over on YouTube, please remember to hit the like button and also click the link in the description down below, because it is always better when it's live. It's time. We have to do some updates and stuff. You would be able to get the drops and stuff, so don't worry about that. You know, you should be able to get them at least. I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, we definitely have to do some maintenance today before we can start streaming. The question is just... I don't like this thumbnail. Might be a decent thumbnail. I'm just scared that people won't know what it's about just from looking at the thumbnail. Although maybe that's fine. Maybe that's perfect. Maybe this is exactly what it should look like. I don't really know. I'll show you guys. Forgot to do that. There we go. Oh shit. Wait. There's something else we have to do quickly. Because I forgot. For you for neat. For you for neat channel. For you for neat. I don't know what time people are going to start filtering in. The stream schedule has been all over the place. King Julian, how you doing, bro? It's been a fucking nightmare. Alright, so now that should update. Yeah, that should work. Okay, cool. Coolio. I guess let's leave this one for now, just as is. We can always circle back to it. Before we go, let's do this. You're going to finally hit 70 today, Echo? No? I have no idea, dude. I mean, maybe. It's not like I'm planning on going slow or anything. I literally go as fast as the game will allow. So, I have no idea. Maybe. Oh, that's the wrong one. No, I don't need to open Adobe Premiere. Motherfucker. Close this. There you go. Open Photoshop. That's the one I need right now. Now we need to go... God damn it. We have to go into history. History. Historican, how you doing? Wait, this is the wrong history. Yeah, I wanted to say this is the wrong history. Okay. This one's the right history. Okay. Now, which videos do we still have to make thumbnails for? Let's just check here. So, we still have a Star Wars Jedi, Phantom Liberty, Diablo 4, and Final Fantasy 16. Now, I'm going to prioritize, I think, Final Fantasy 16 and Diablo 4, because those tend to be quite important. That's very loud. No, that was the wrong one. This is the one we want, right? Yeah. And then Jedi Survivor we can do as well. And then what's the other one? The last one is Diablo Cyberpunk. Okay, yeah, we can do the Cyberpunk one as well. Alright, that's good. Hey, so how you doing, bro? I hope everyone is doing well. We quickly have to do some maintenance before we can get into some reacts and stuff. Okay, so Final Fantasy, Diablo. I don't know why I didn't do Diablo yesterday, but, you know, fuck it. We'll just do it today, I guess. Star Wars. Okay, Star Wars and then Cyberpunk. Final one. Abaddon, how you doing, bro? Oh shit, Apocalypse. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub, dude. 39 months, part of the DJ Nation. Appreciate you, fam. Are you winning, son? Dude, winning what? Claptrade, how you doing, brother? No. My power literally just came back online. And it's going off again today twice. This afternoon for 2.5 hours, and then this evening for 2.5 hours. I don't know. Unless that's called winning. Maybe that is what winning feels like. I don't know. Okay. That, and then we need pictures. Camera roll. Alright, chat. Let's start with the Final Fantasy trailer. Let's pick a nice face. Fuck. We'll use this. I think this is good. Jeez, need to get out of ZA, bro. Dude, you're telling me. But the problem is, where do you go right now? Because the whole world is pretty much falling a fucking apart. So, if you're not, like... So, if I were to leave, where would I go? Thromka, how you doing? I go, what is that bushy stuff? Real pros use Windows 95 MS Paint to edit pics? Dude, if you could fucking make thumbnails on Windows 95 MS Paint, I will suck your dick. NZ doing alright? I don't want to go to fucking New Zealand though. Let's do it a little smaller. Maybe like so? Oh, that looks fine. Fuck it. We'll just go with that. Give it a little brightness boost. Slight contrast boost. A little bit of saturation. Just like so. Ferrum, how you doing, bro? Echo, didn't have time to watch your streams lately. Did you talk about the Chromie quest when we visit the Black Empire? No, because I haven't done it yet. I have had very little time to play or to stream. So I am very far behind when it comes to like actually playing the game and actually being finished. Hopefully we can get somewhere close to finish today, although I'm not sure. All the good VGA trailers? Kind of, I think so. Well, at least I've watched the ones that I give a shit about. Sathius, how you doing, bro? Metal fan from Al, how you doing, brother? I've watched the ones that I care about. I don't know if that's all the good ones, though. Maybe it isn't. And you guys have to forgive me for doing this during stream. But if I'm not doing it during stream, I don't know when else I would be able to do it. My power literally came on at 10 o'clock. it is now 10:30. So I don't have any electricity to do this. So, yeah. Kind of have to make do. Have you watched all the good... sorry, fucking hell. Become a Kiwi? Nah, I wouldn't want to live in New Zealand, though. No, I mean, right now, yes, South Africa is fucked, but so is almost every other country in the world. So... I don't know if it really matters. No. Dude, fuck me. Okay, never mind. Do that. Delete that. Use a different picture. Maybe. Let's see what this looks like first. Before we commit, shall we? Might be a little too side profile. What do you guys think? Does this look a little too side profile? It's a little much, I think. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Fuck! Okay, so what am I doing? Go with the proper... Just like a proper little fucking... Papega face over here, shall we? Like, when in doubt, just use the tried and tested. Mouth open, very surprised. Put your face in Tyrell's mask hole and done. Yeah, I don't know how to fucking do that, so... Was it Tyrell? I have no idea. Some people have been saying it's Tyrell and Arius. It's almost definitely not Tyrell. It is the angel. I don't know the lore of Diablo that well, so don't quote me on this. But it is the angel that locked Lilith in hell in the first place. So whoever the fuck that was. Then it's an Arius. Okay, there you go. Then that is confirmed thing. If you guys say so, chat, I genuinely don't know the lore of Diablo that well. Like, I've never read a single thing about Diablo that wasn't just in the game. Like, if it wasn't in the game, I just didn't read it. Because, fuck it. Let me not glow. And I think that's a win. Yeah, fuck it, we'll just do it like that. Not as complex as WoW. Diablo lore is pretty straightforward lore. Like, very easy to remember. Would we say World of Warcraft's lore is complex though, Thromka? Like, would you be willing to stake out that opinion? Because I don't know how complex World of Warcraft's lore is to begin with. Like, I would say some of World of Warcraft's lore is definitely convoluted, but complex, not really. If you take, it's no J.R.R. Tolkien or Warhammer 40k, or even Lovecraft, right? agree, it's slightly more complex than Diablo's, but simply because there's a lot more of it versus 4 Diablo games. WoW lore was easy to follow until they started to retcon shit. Thronko, but that's usually called more, that's usually referred to more as convoluted lore rather than complex lore. So Warhammer, for example, has incredibly complex lore, but it's not convoluted. It's just complex. It's just because there is so much going on and there's so many layers to it that it can be very, very difficult to follow. And you really need to sort of go by the numbers in order to understand it. World of Warcraft, and this is just sort of due to a couple of bad decisions, do suffer from a little bit more of a convolution rather than a complexity within the lore. Now, Dragonflight doesn't seem to suffer from that at all. So, if I may just be permitted to say something good about Diablo, about World of Warcraft, so far, the lore in Dragonflight have been pretty straightforward, pretty easy to follow, and also, I think, they nailed the pacing. True. Apocalypse, very true. So this is Jedi Survivor. I think we can do maybe something to the tune like this. Give it a backdrop and maybe an outer glow. Like so. Gonna have to increase that shadow distance even more. And that looks decent. Now we have to figure out what do we put behind this. We could just change the color of this, but I don't know if I like that. Does this work, chat, or do you think the yellow is a bit weird? Apocalypse, yeah, pretty much, right? I'm not allowed to say anything good about World of Warcraft, ever. Ever, ever, ever. Maybe red and blue, like the color of the lightsabers? You think the background should be red and blue? I don't know if red and blue would probably make the picture fall apart a little. My thumbnail had broken if I saw that. Like we talked about the other day. Abaddon, I don't know what the fuck you mean with a color wheel. Okay, wait. Can I just Google color wheel? Okay, so what am I supposed to do now? So I pick a color. I mean, that one is opposite colors are contrasting, adjacent, or complementary. So these two would be complementary. Yeah, they say these two are complementary, but you could also... No. What is monochromatic? I don't know what the fuck that means. Analogous? I don't know what that means. Triadic? No idea what that is. Tetradic? So there's 4 different colors there, whatever the fuck that means. Someone doesn't believe there are more than 3 colors. There is literally, like, as you can see here, you can make out the 5 different colors, basically. So since the picture is pretty much this kind of blue, almost a whitish. Saint German, how you doing, brother? Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. It wants me to effectively, use this color, in other words, as the background. That's the color, in other words, that it wants me to use because it's complementary or whatever. Does that look good, though? Valen, how you doing, brother? I'm not blind. I don't see all of the colors that people tend to see. Because I genuinely believe that most of it is just made up bullshit. You know my opinion? The yellow popped more than the image in the previous one? Ah, okay. So this might be a decent color then, right? Blind, that's debatable. Massey, go fuck yourself. You asshole. How you doing, bro? Okay, we'll just stick with this color. Fuck it. I don't know what else to do. So I'm just gonna go with this. And then we'll just put my face somewhere. Now, which face shall we use? Oh, this could work. I think. I fucking hope. Yeah, this should work. Why shock, though? I mean, it's not a shock that it's a good game, or at least it looks decent. You don't like... Oh, yeah. Apocalypse doesn't like Star Wars. Never mind. Don't listen to him. Pay no attention to him, chat. Man doesn't have claws. Alright, so if we use that picture, right? And we do that. What does that look like? It's very basic, which I kind of think is cool in a way. The fact that it's so fucking basic. It's literally just a solid background with the video that I'm reacting to and my face. Easy. I think that works. So let's give it a bit of color, a bit of brightness, a little bit of contrast, slight vibrance, and a little saturation. High pass filter, vivid light. You look like a finger is in your bum? Well, hopefully people click on it, thinking, oh my god, this is porn. You never know, right? Like, maybe people... No! I fucked it up! We cancel that. And first rasterize the fuck out of this one. There we go. Now we can go into this one and give it a bit of back shadow. Some inner glow. Okay, that should do the trick. The title is literally just me reacting to the video. It's as simple as that. Valen, the gym was good. Or at least the gym today was pretty good. It's getting more quiet at the gym, so that's always really fun. The beach was fucking amazing today. Absolutely disgustingly cool. I wonder if I can show you guys. Well, no, I should be able to show you. Hold up. Let me just quickly... Let me just find it. because I took some pictures on Instagram of the beach this morning. It was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, look at this. There's music here as well, but that was the beach this morning. Almost no one on the beach because it was kind of rainy and shit. You can see the raindrops in my glasses there. And the wind was fucking... Dude, it was like gale force winds. It was absolutely insane. But such a fucking gorgeous morning on the beach. Yeah, really fun day. Really fun fucking day. Right. Okay, so we have the Jedi Star Wars one done. I think that's the only one we need now. I think I'm going to change the others. Yeah, I might have to change the others. Like, do them better. Raining and Gale Force winds. Yeah, but it's gorgeous. I mean, didn't you just see that, Valen? I mean, this is beautiful. Like, look at that. It's fucking gorgeous, man. Just check that out. How could you not like that? Sadly, there was no coffee carts on the beach this morning, which blew ass. But, you know, is what it is. At least for now. Does it look like I've lost weight? This is one picture. All right. Now, keep this picture in mind, all right? Because this is the newest picture. But can you tell or not really? Greg does stuff. How you doing, brother? Okay, so that is one picture. And this is the other one. A lot of weight since we first met. Greg, thank you very much, dude. Really appreciate that. I try. Yeah, how you doing? Yes, definitely. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But we have to get this tummy, like, way down. It has to go down, like, completely. Way stronger, too. Dude, I'm getting fatter. Wow. That would be weird, considering I go to the gym every day and I'm gaining weight. Fuck. That would be sad. Your head looks bigger, which is a good sign. Is that a good one for getting on with it? That's the hardest part. Well, the gym is fun. I don't want to not go to the gym, to be honest. When you told me you were going to do videos, you were a pretty big guy. Oh, yeah. Greg, that is true. Muscle weighs more than fat. Easy. Yeah, but you still need to lose weight. That's, like, the #1 biggest thing, is you do need to lose weight. But, yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that I'm getting stronger, which is actually the only thing that really matters to me, is getting stronger. I like going into the gym and feeling like, you know, week on week, I can see myself improving. Even if it's not much, but you do see the improvements over the course of time. That goes to the gym every day. Only goes to talk with the other guys. Probably, right? But no. Okay, so let's see if we can tune this one up a little. So if we took this one, now this is more of a brownish color, no? Like, where would you put this on the color wheel? Something like there. Burnt orange, let's say? What the fuck do you mean burnt orange? I'm just trying to match what I see here to here, and you're using words. Burnt orange. I don't know what the fuck to look for there. Oh, I can move it around as well. Nice. What do you mean this guy did? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Oh, that looks a little bit more even. Yeah, we'll go with that one. Okay. Let's see what this background would look like. Okay, so that's a blue black background. Yeah, I have never burnt my oranges. That I can say with quite a lot of certainty, actually. I wonder... An inner glow actually does look quite nice with that. Does that look good? What do you guys think? Yay or nay? On life over my weight in the last few years? Craig, never fucking think like that, bro. Don't think like that. Losing weight really isn't that hard. Really isn't that hard. It's literally just a case of... It is slow. You're not going to lose weight fast, but think of it as... You didn't gain the weight fast either. Right? You don't look the way that you look due to like a month of bad eating. It took you years to get there. So I would say I would say yeah, stop just start working out. Even if it's just a little. I mean, you don't have to push yourself too much. Just go to the gym every day. Quinn Dog, how you doing, brother? Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. Just go to the gym. Here's what I would do, right? I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here. I just being real with you. Dude, don't fucking worry about it, man. I don't get down that easily. Don't worry about it. Here's what I would suggest, right? Especially if you're really big. So I'm lucky in that I never really got that big to the point where I couldn't move or, you know, couldn't really exercise. You do get guys that's so big that they can't actually exercise, at least not normally. But I would say literally go to the gym and all you do is 3 minutes of cardio. Just start with 3 minutes. That's it. If you don't want to go to the gym immediately, just start walking. Just briskly walk for like 3 minutes per day. Get your heart rate up. And then start increasing that over the course of, say, you know, every week or so. Try and walk a little bit faster until you walk as fast as you can possibly walk. And then go 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7. Just slow changes will make all the fucking difference. Quite excited, to be honest. Once I've had this surgery and my sinuses are cleared out, apparently I should automatically lose weight anyway, since I'll generally have more energy day to day. Nice, Avedon. I can't wait for you coming back and explaining to us how you've actually gained weight. That'll be funny though. You're like the only guy in the history of this operation that actually don't lose weight. All right. Crap in my mouth? Oh, yeah. No, the eating thing I would say is probably the hardest, right? I would say, yeah, getting your eating habits correct, that's like the hardest thing you can do. Everything else is relatively cool, but fuck me, diet is rough, bro. Diet is really difficult. But once you nail it, you've nailed it. Which one was this? This is the Diablo one, right? Yeah, Diablo 4 trailer. I hope this works. It probably won't, you know? But maybe it does. Who knows? And then we have one more. The Final Fantasy one. Maybe we can move this one to this side. You know, change it up a little. Yeah, we'll fucking change it up a little, shall we, chat? Just like that. Then move me down a bit. Like so. Let's give it a bit of a backdrop. Okay. Give it a bit of inner glow. Do you think railing a midget is the equivalent of a normal-sized woman taking a horse cock? Depends on the size of your cock. If you have micro penis, then no. It's going to be the same as taking a normal cock for her. But if you're like a normal guy with a normal cock, yeah, probably. Like, you would probably... I don't know. What's the anatomical dimensions of a midget's pussy? Is it also midget size, or is that normal size? First week back at the gym, I was not too motivated. Now I'm excited to go pretty much most days. The gym is amazing. Aldezen, how you doing, brother? Oh, you still talking about dicks? Greg, we're not talking about dicks now. We're talking about midget vaginas. There's a difference. This is like the important stuff. We have to figure this shit out, chat. Under 4'11" in height is classified as midget, so one could argue it wouldn't be that much smaller than an average pussy. Yeah, but that's not what I think whenever someone says midget. Right? Like, no one thinks, oh, just really short girl. Because 4'11" is just a normal girl, but short, which can be very cute. When you say midget, what people are immediately thinking, what I'm thinking at least, is dwarf. Like, really small, tiny human being. Short limbs, big head. Yeah, pretty much, right? That is the definition of midget. They're anatomically normal and in ratio, just under 4'11". Dwarfs are different. Yeah, but midget doesn't make you think that they're the same. It makes you think that they're dwarfs. Like, don't even fucking start with me, chat. When you hear someone says, oh my god, he's a fucking midget, you're not thinking to yourself, oh, normal person, 4'11" and under. No, it's not what you're thinking. Proportionate, midgets are just miniature. Yeah, but that's not what I think when I hear it. And that's really what's important here. Alright, so color wheel. Color me interested. Let's see. What color are we going for here? It's kind of a purplish. Not that kind of purple, though. Is that purple? Is that pink? What the fuck color would that be? Yeah, almost like this. This is gonna be wild. Let's see. Let's see if this even fucking works, shall we? So that's the color, according to this, that we should choose for this one. What do you guys think? Yay or nay? Yeah, but the color wheel could be wrong based on how I put the colors into it, right? And maybe this color is wrong. This color is almost definitely wrong. It looks to be a bit darker as a pink. It's a purple. It's definitely a purple. But what kind of fucking purple? It's not that purple. I wish there was a program that could tell you what kind of purple you're looking at. Wait, isn't there? Doesn't this thing have like an eyedropper thing? I'm pretty sure it does. See, like, okay, I think I just took a snapshot there of whatever the fuck. No. The hell? Where's the eyedropper? Okay, it's not. Oh, wait, because I'm in the wrong place. Take this one. Now. Wait, no. Open the color. So according to this thing, right? The color of this picture is this. So we can copy this. Drag it into the wheel. The wheel doesn't lie. Paste it. And then this is the color that we should go for. It's not a good color, though. There we go. So according to the wheel of color, this is the color. Hey, Anaseva, how you doing? Looks like a snake. A snake? A what? Change the thumbnail game to be theoretically correct, but a Chad? Yeah, but I don't even know quite what I'm fucking doing. I'm just following your instruction here. I think that's fine. That looks fine. We'll see how this is probably not going to make a single difference to video views. Like, not a fucking difference in the world to video views. But, you know. We'll just roll with it for now. Okay. That being that, means we can fucking go out of this, into this, and start the healing process. So this is the Final Fantasy trailer for the Game Awards. Do I need to say original video? No, fuck that. People can search for it themselves. Dude, I hope to God this gets, because it doesn't look that good. So hopefully it stands out enough that people go, wow, this really caught my eye with how bad it looked. 20 minutes ago and already using the technical color references exactly to come out of the precise tones. What a Chad. Oh my God. Or closet gay interior designer. Lol. Wow, definitely points to the latter. Morning 5 a.m. here in the Caribbean. Ventu, how you doing, brother? I'm just taking shit from chat. So, you know, life's good. With me and Chow having a bit of a disagreement here. Final Fantasy 16. Off we go. Monetization on. Next. I think I swore a little in the video. I may have. It's almost a fucking safe bet that I have now. Element, video, choose a specific video, choose that one because it's a good one, and schedule. This one goes live tonight at 6 p.m. Schedule. Yeah, sometimes. I try not to. You know, I try to be a good Christian boy, but sometimes I can't help myself. I have to swear a little. Wait, which bitches, Abaddon? Are you watching Amaranth again? With how fast it sells, I'm sure they need to replace it daily. Oh, you're talking about the girls that... Wait, are there still girls that sells their bathtub water or some shit? Hot tub water? I'm assuming it's probably a booming industry. So why not, you know? Hey, Anna, don't say ew. Those girls work really hard. You know? They have to put the water in the bathtub or the hot tub, and then they have to get into the hot tub, and then they have to, like, sit in the hot tub for hours and hours on end while people pay their money to sit in the hot tub. It's a lot of work. You know? You can't fucking knock it. That's some next level work. There are women that sell underwear they have sneezed in too. I don't even want to get into that. That's a little weird. I get, like, I don't approve of it, but I kind of get buying underwear that's already been worn. But underwear that's been sneezed in, what kind of fucking kink is that? I'm not one, I don't really care to kink shame, but that's a strange kink. That's a very strange kink. I guess everyone has their shit that they do that no one else understands. So we'll just, you know, accept that. Accept them with all of their problems. I know there's some out there with a feet fetish, but it's got to be overblown on the internet for the memes, and I'm sure. I think foot fetishes are actually far more common than what most people would lead you to believe. I'm not saying that everyone has one or that it's, you know, as big as some people pretend it to be, but I do think it's quite large. Like, I know of a few guys, like, I have met guys that's into that shit. Only feet. Doesn't OnlyFans offer that service too, though? This is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Now, do you think that they already have that? It was only recently announced, so there's a good chance that it's not yet up there. Oh, here we go. Jedi Survivor TM. Part of Back of the Day chat. Why? Can we all just admit that burnt orange really works in the thumbnail? Dude, it's just orange. Like, fuck. Stop making up shit. It's not burnt orange. It's just a dark orange. Like, look at that. That's just dark orange. Not burnt orange or whatever. Burnt orange would have shades of black in it. That's just orange. It's like a bit dark, or like a bit darker than normal orange, but still orange. Apocalypse, that is one that I don't think is as popular as the porn industry would make it out to be. Eating ass, I don't think it's as popular as the porn industry wants us to believe. Is everyone told they need to eat more veggies and salad? Wait, Abaddon, are you suggesting that eating ass and eating vegetables is the same thing? Burnt orange apparently is whatever the fuck that color is. It's literally called tossing the salad. Yeah, but it's not a fucking salad, is it? I don't think it's high in anything. I don't think it's very nutritious. Chat, you guys are fucking disgusting. You know that. You guys are fucking disgusting. Alright, that's it. There's no I'm gonna be sick emote. Drenaman, what? You're gonna be sick because there's people eating ass. How is that gonna make you sick? Greg, I don't think I don't think even the people with the kink would eat their own ass. I don't think that's how that works. I think it's like they want to eat other people's asses, but they don't necessarily want to eat their own. Sick of not getting an invite, he means? To what? My asshole looks like my foot? Fucking disgusting. Greg, that's a little borderline, bro. If people ate my ass, they'd get a good flossing at the same time? Because it's... Dude. Oh, that's fucking nasty, bro. That's a bit nasty. Oh my Jesus. No. Fuck. What the fuck is that? Like, why would you even say that? We don't need... Like, no one needed to know that, bro. Jesus. Oh my God, no. I hate you so much right now. I genuinely did not need that image in my head. It's Taco Tuesday. How do we get into this conversation? How does chat get into any fucking conversation? It just happens. It just happens. It doesn't matter what we talk about. We'll somehow always start talking about some disgusting sexual shit. Do you know why we need an I'm gonna be sick emote? I think so. I think we do need one. Wait, do we really not have one? Are you sure? Let's just go through this, shall we? I thought we had a puking one, but maybe we don't. We should make one then. Yeah, we should absolutely get an I'm gonna be sick emote. Okay, I'm right there with you. We'll get that shit up and running. Let me talk to Ferorius right now, shall I? I'll message Ferorius and ask him for an I'm gonna be sick emote. Here we go. All right, Ferorius has been notified. He'll get back to us. He'll get back to us. There's not already an emote like that. It is degenerate as this chat is. I'm kind of surprised. Dude, I add the emotes as we go. They, you know, I don't make the rules. I just sort of, whatever chat needs, I try to provide that. If you don't tongue the booty, you ain't getting coochie. I don't know if that's true, though. You might find that many girls would not be okay with you tonguing the booty. In fact, it might actually be that most girls wouldn't be fine with that. What video is this? How you wipe. Wait, what?
I'm a...
What is this about? I don't know what this video is about. It's actually a condensed version too. Traxiton, how you doing, brother? I don't know if we can reach a new level of degeneracy, to be honest. Is this about... Is this about wiping your ass? All right, so I don't exactly know why we have this video and why people in chat thought that this was a good idea, but apparently we have to talk about this. This is the real shit. It's about how do you wipe your ass, I think. So, good luck to everyone.
I'm a sitter. I think
And
Gabby
I'm
is also a sitter.
Yeah.
And what did the poll show? Hang on, should we get the results in?
Because I'm baffled. Who the stands up and wipes their ass?
But
No one stands, do they? Like, once you're done pooping, why would you stand up? That just squishes things together more. When you sit, it parts the cheeks so you can really get in there. Standing would sort of defeat the fucking purpose.
the current results reflect our current status because you two both sit, but I stand. Which is currently the current results of 30% standards.
It's like 1/3.
No, it's going down. It's now. It's definitely it's 47 versus 13 votes for and sitting is in the win.
I don't think you guys stand. I think you guys are fucking lying to me. Seriously. Why would you fucking stand to wipe your ass? That makes no sense. Amaron, I'm okay. You don't need to prove shit. I'm just telling you. Why would you do it? Like, look, when you're sitting and you're pooping, right? So you're in a comfy position, you're sitting there, you're pooping, you're doing your business. Once you're done, you grab the toilet paper and you just lean back, just sort of reach back there, wipe it off, make sure it's clean, maybe take it out just to make sure in the last one, everyone has to do that, right? The last one you have to take out just to make sure everything's nice and clean. Throw it away, flush it down, everyone's happy for it. But then, some of you, for some fucking stupid reason, decides, no, I'll stand up. So what? How are you standing, though? Like, how exactly? So, are you standing like this? Is it like a fucking lean forward kind of thing? So, you're standing and you're leaning forward. Are you standing up? What the fuck are you doing? Why would you even need to do that? Dude. The toilet is built in such a way that it offers you exactly the amount of access needed. Here's a better question for all of you. Those of you that's normal and sitting down whenever you wipe your ass. Front or back? Where does the hands go in? Do you go from the front, dick side first, or from the back? That's the big question.
Winner in the lead.
No!
Yes, because how weird is that?
Like, why? Look, talk us through your
What's your
thought
logic?
process.
Well, the logic is I don't want to shove my hand into the toilet bowl. It's all dirty in there.
You don't shove. You don't have to do
What
that.
the fuck are you
Right, so
talking
how are you doing
about?
that then? Are you putting your hand behind your ass and wiping up? Or are you putting your hand between your legs and wiping from the back
No, behind
forward?
your ass and up.
You can do either, but I prefer the back.
You could do either. I feel like if you're wiping forward,
you can't do either.
you're gonna bring
You can't do either. I'm sorry, but no. If you go from the front, so you put your hand down your dick, right, and down to your ass, what you're doing is if you wipe, you're dragging shit to your dick. That's just very unhygienic. Don't do that. Go from the back. That's where the action is. That's where the cleaning needs to happen. That's where you do it. You don't wash your neighbor's car before you wash your own. It's not fucking necessary. Just wash your own car. My huge dick gets in the way. Oh yeah, your huge dick, I'm sure.
shit all the way to your
Well, how pooey is your bumhole?
I mean, you probably know from a lot of people it can get pretty pooey down there.
Whoa. Not your one specifically, just in general, do you mean?
I mean, it can get pretty pooey, kind of.
Okay.
If you've had too much curry or something, it's pretty shitty down there.
Here's my problem, right?
Okay, so
people. No, wait, hold on. People
I've
are
got so much to say
I
on
know,
this.
I've got so much to say as well. People are being precious about potentially putting their hand down slightly, not even into the toilet bowl, just down slightly to wipe their own ass, which they then wash their hands with, but they're okay with standing up and creating a shit sandwich between their arse cheeks when those cheeks get pushed together before you can then wipe it. And let me remind you that when you wipe it with that toilet paper, it doesn't actually clean it. That's basically like having gravy on a plate and then wiping it with a paper towel and saying it's clean. So it's actually dirtier for your ass cheeks to wipe it like that than to just get it in a concentrated spot.
So are you saying...
I don't know if that's true. When you feast in 10 minutes? Jesus, Traxton.
that you get every little bit of poop when you are sitting down, that when you then go to stand up, it doesn't all squish there anyway.
Like the majority,
yes, 100% of the time.
It's not
you just expose yourself as that being your reality, so you know that standing up.
I would say you also expose yourself to the possibility that someone walks in and immediately wonders what the fuck is going on. Like, I'm going to be real with you guys. If I walked into a bathroom, you know, and let's say I'm married, right? I walk into the bathroom, my girlfriend's taking a shit, and I walk in and she's fucking hunched over, standing upright, wiping her ass. I'm getting a divorce. Like, I can't trust someone like that. Why would you do this? That is just an image that you will never get out of your head ever again. This shit on chat, pun intended.
What? Squeeze his eyes
also,
poo out.
I had the opportunity to explain myself.
No, hold on. What are you people who are shitting and then like standing to wipe going to do when you have a child and that child then takes a shit? What, like, you can't avoid getting poo on your hand then.
No, you
just
can't.
wash your hands. That is like
Also,
the only thing.
Nah. What about... And you will have a chance to answer, Nick, once I've finished. What about the times when you might go to the toilet and then you think that it's all gone out and left the building, but sometimes you get a little bit of a claggler hanging on, and then you go to wipe it, and then
if you will,
a dingleberry, and then whilst you wipe it, it falls off, and you're like, oh, that's quite a heavy wipe. I'm just going to drop that in the toilet because clearly there's a bit of a clinger on. But if you stand up and do it and then you wipe, it fucking falls down. Huh?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't think know what you guys are...
That's never happened to me. Has that happened to you guys? Where you go to wipe and then you realize, ooh, I was mid-log there. Like, there's some stuff coming out still. That's never happened to me. Like, you make sure that you're done. I think this is just for people that, like, take a poo in 30 seconds. So they literally just sit down, poo, and then get up. Whereas, you know, when I'm taking a poo, you take your time. You know, that's you time, bro. That's where you sit there and you dream and you think, and, you know, about at least 10 minutes. At least 10 minutes. You have to be in there, you know, just to really make sure that everything's going, like, according to plan, your life sorted out. That's where I do most of my thinking is done on the toilet, you know? I have IBS. I have committed Geneva Convention violations on every toilet that I've ever met, and especially the work toilet. My boss makes $1, I make $0.10. That's why I nuke the toilet at company time. Fuck. I'm a quick pooer. I'm not going to finish a fucking book in there. No one said you need to finish a book, but taking your time on the toilet is fun.
Thinking and picturing me like standing up. I'm not like standing up to attention, like ass like clenched, like squeezing it out like an ice cream sandwich.
How are you doing it then?
So, like, you know, you've done your business, and this will answer your question. You know, you sit on the toilet for a little bit, right? So you know that there's nothing hanging on anymore, you know?
Okay,
you do like a little shake to make sure that there's
a
no
little
like,
shake?
You know,
what are
like
you, a fucking dog?
Yeah, so you know that there's
why
nothing going on down there.
Belly dancing.
Shakira.
Yeah, so you're like, okay, cool. There shouldn't be any hangers on down there.
Yes.
And then
I wouldn't shake.
and then you're sort of like in a bit of a squat position when you stand up. So like you're raising your bum off, and you're like maybe at like a 45-degree angle.
So you're not standing up straight when you're up
No,
your ass?
definitely not standing like up to attention because obviously, yeah, that'll, you know.
So hang on. So why don't you just sit down? If your legs are already, if your legs are already,
It seems like just a lot of work.
If your legs are already at a 45-degree angle, why don't you just sit back a tiny bit and wipe your ass whilst you're sitting down?
I don't like it.
All right, while I appreciate this video, and, you know, it's fine, I'm going to say that I have about, like, a limit of the amount of time in a day that I wish to devote to the conversation of other people's pooing habits. And that is, I think we've reached that limit now. I'm over it. There's no way in fucking hell you can have a 25-minute discussion on poo. It's not possible. So I'm going to call it here, but you guys are more than welcome to go watch this if you want to hear the full conversation. I don't want to hear the full conversation. I'm perfectly happy not hearing the full conversation here. They say shits and giggles, I guess. I was over in a minute. I go, yeah, but it's not your fucking channel, King Julian. It's mine, and I wanted to hear what they had to say. But then I got over it. So now we can move the fuck on. All right, so what do we have? We should probably do this month. We haven't been on the subreddit in a while. Fuck, you guys have once again started suggesting all the longest videos. Like, how long is this video? No, of course it's 45 minutes. Of course it's 45 minutes. Talk about shit talking. I'm about to spend a credit on Audible. Any recommendations for Wowbox? Run the Weirdo, you can go for Dawn of the Aspects. It's pretty cool. I'm rereading it right now, and it is actually quite a lot of fun. The other one that I would go for is War of the Ancients, if you haven't read that yet. Because those would be the two books that would right now have sort of the biggest impact on the current story. So yeah, I would probably go for those. What's the Sanguinius one from Major Kill First as a palate cleanser? No, that's not how it works. Subreddit suggests videos. We go from the top. That way, there's no cheating. There's no playing favorites. So we'll start with 40k's most insane weapons from Luton09. It is, of course, it's a 45-minute video because Luton doesn't make videos that's shorter than, like, at least 40 minutes. So let's hear what Luton has to say. Only the trailer breakdown, though. Nightbringer was broken beneath the heel of the Necron Empire, bound and humbled. There is nothing that we cannot accomplish. Never again will we bow to any master. Never again shall we cede command of our destiny. Illuminer? Seraz. Alright. Phalanx, boys. The fucking phalanx. There you go. Run the Widow. Take care of yourself, brother. Thanks for coming to say hello.
Now, it's been a while since we did a list of things video, so it seemed very obvious to me we should create some devastation by delivering a video looking, of course, at some of the most insane weapons in 40k. How many choices are there? Several. And I've tried to pick a mix of both the obvious, the interesting, and the contentious, and as always, this ended up being much longer than I thought, and this is why this will be part one of probably an ongoing series. Within the galaxy of 40k, the unending conflicts mean there is no shying away from weapons capable of annihilating entire planets. And very obviously there are more options than I can cover in one video. So as per usual, if you want me to follow this up, then you know what to do. Smash the likes as if it were the face of dawn and you're an angry iron warrior. Because as I always say, the better a video does, then the more of them that I'm going to make. And I definitely know that there's some of my other lists you guys want me to follow up on already. Either I'm not a fan of ranked lists in terms of just going from 10 to 1. So as with all of these, it's just a case of whatever I had a gut feeling of interest towards in terms of order. For the purposes of this video, I am considering a weapon to be anything that is simply destructive to an enemy, which I also interpret to mean as being powerfully...
Wouldn't the Primarchs then count as weapons because they are pretty destructive? Or even the Custodes would then count as weapons based on that definition, no?
Advantageous to its user. So it doesn't have to be literally a physically offensive device, a handheld infantry weapon, or any kind of mechanical thing. The key element is that whatever it is, it enables destruction. I'll also note that for pretty obvious reasons, the Eldar and Necron tend to feature quite strongly when we're talking about crazy world-ending weaponry, but in this today I wanted to mix it up, which is why we're starting with one of the most rare weapons in the 40k verse, and one that has always captured my imagination the most because of its rarity and connection to the mysterious AI of humanity's golden age, who have on occasion been found to still exist, albeit usually lost, damaged or fragmented across the vast space of the galaxy in the 41st millennium. There are several instances where we have seen Dark Age AI unleash their firepower, and when they have done so they can control seemingly almost any device owned by the Imperium remotely, and use weapons that are so powerful they simply collapse void shields, tearing ships of the Imperium apart like a children's toy. Now, Arch Mechanicus are the starships of the Mechanicus, surprisingly, and as such they often contain technology far in advance of other Imperial ships. They're like gigantic factorums, they're absolutely massive ships in size comparative to most other vessels, although again this is somewhat vaguely defined, because an Arch Mechanicus will contain a hive's worth of manufactorums, refineries, power plants, laboratories, testing ranges, chemical vats, gene bays. They'll also be led by an exploratory of the Mechanicus with the singular goal of locating fully operational.
Quick question. Is the AI, insofar as the dark age of humanity, right? The dark age of technology, was the AI truly evil? Or is it more a case of humanity sort of did a bunch of things wrong and that's what turned the AI against them? Because there is that one instance of an AI ship arriving at a planet and the AI not having any interest in killing the humans there because they became so sentient that they got souls. Oh shit. Wait, seriously? Chaos can corrupt the AI of humanity?
And complete STCs. That is a standard template construct. It's worth noting also as an aside that when we speak about STC, this is never usually clarified, but an STC is still somewhat vague just in its definition as well, because from what we know, an STC refers to something akin to a dark age of technology AI, coupled with what would be a constructor element. And this is what would enable these ancient zenith pieces of human technology to create almost anything imaginable, from world-ending weapons to vaccines able to cure any and all diseases for mankind. But the dark comedy of this search by the Mechanicus is of course the fact that it is Arch Mechanicus themselves which actually appear to be in fact the STC that they are searching for. As we learned from the Forges of Mars series, this is the speculation of Archmagos Kotov, who realized by his interactions with the ship's machine spirit that it actually appears to be an intact STC and is just hidden as part of the ship, that in fact the machine spirit and...
Wait, what? So, the Adeptus Mechanicus already have all of the working STCs. They just don't know how to access it. Oh, bro, humanity with all that technology. Holy shit.
Potentially other machine spirits have AI hidden within them, which has long been something of a contentious speculation. But it's simply that when it comes to the machine spirit, that ability to connect in with it and understand it is just so far outside of the reach of the Mechanicus' understanding, they don't have the ability to connect with the AI at that level. So that's actually this very interesting prospect as another aside here, that AI may actually exist within the Imperium. They're just unable to really be aware or understand how that works or even interact with it because they're operating on a whole other level. So that's a kind of real curiosity. But specifically in the first book, Priests of Mars, Kotov is able to connect with this latent AI contained within the Arch Mechanicus ship, the Speranza, and he notes as he deep dives into the gigantic ship's machine spirit his observations, where he says he's seeing systems flicker past his floodstream that were as alien to him as anything that the most secretive xenotech might dream of in his fevered nightmares.
Atreidian,
and
thanks for the
technological
follow, bro.
echoes of machine
Really
spirits
appreciate
that
that.
surely predated the Imperium itself. Power generation that could harness the galactic background radiation to propel ships beyond light speed. Weapon tech that could crack open planets, and event horizon machines that had the power to drag entire star systems into their light and time-swallowing embrace. All this and more dwelled here, ancient data, forgotten lore, and locked vaults where the secrets of the ancients had been hidden. In this one fleeting glance, Kotov realized that he had been a fool to drag this proud starship into the howling emptiness of space in search of hidden secrets. The Speranza was the greatest secret of all, and in its heart it held the truth of all things, the key to unlocking all that the Mechanicus had ever dreamed. Yet that knowledge was sealed behind impenetrable barriers, bound in the heart of the mighty vessel for good reason. The knowledge of the men of gold and their ancient ancestors was encoded in its very bones, enmeshed within every diamond helix of its structure. So this Speranza AI interaction is actually something which raises a lot of questions that I don't have time to get into now, but I will happily discuss in the future. It gets pretty heavy and very speculative as to just at what level this kind of Dark Age tech actually exists, and that perhaps in fact does not even require what we would consider to be a physical system to continue existing, which goes towards this glimpses of the sum total of knowledge that Koriel Zeth had hoped to achieve. The point is though that the Speranza's AI, or STC, whatever you want to call it, aids the Mechanicus who are being attacked by Eldar ships. They have little to no chance of success and are facing destruction. And this is where we see the true power contained in these relic weapons from the Dark Age of technology. Now, I should note these are not available generally to be used by the Imperium because they are only seen to be used by a cooperative AI STC, as in other instances a demonstration of its power. In fact, the Speranza's machine spirit AI STC whatever helps simply to flex its technological muscle, not because it actually cares for the mortal insects that it happens to be cohabiting with. This is one of the main reasons that I love weapons from the Dark Age of technology, because not only are they completely insane, but usually the context of their operation is often just a grumpy machine spirit STC AI who helps out just because is basically like, oh, okay, you dumb mortal things, I'll save you just this one time. So when the Mechanicus ship begins to activate its weapon...
No, I'm aware, Grofile, that the Imperium doesn't have all of the STCs. I'm also aware that the Imperium pays a fucking premium for any intact STCs that can be given to it. I know that there's a soldier, like a normal guardsman, that once discovered an STC for a new type of knife. And he got an entire planet as his gift. So I'm aware, right, that, yeah, STCs are incredibly sought after. The thing that Luton said here suggests that humanity already have all of the STCs that they could ever need. The problem is just that they don't know how to unlock it. Either because they have forgotten, or because they don't have the technology to unlock the STCs of these Arch Mechanicus ships.
Most of the Mechanicus on the ship end up suddenly becoming very fearful, a little panicked, standing in awe of the ship, essentially becoming self-aware and operating without this input. All sorts of devices and lights and inputs and displays are lighting up all over the ship that have never operated before. The Mechanicus are freaking out because they don't know what the hell is going on. When the Imperial ships supporting the Arch Mechanicus finally have their vessels converge on the Eldar, they open fire. But it is the Speranza that demonstrates the true power of the Dark Age of technology. Gigantic gun tubes rise out of the superstructure either side of the Mechanicus vessel that had never seen before on heavy rail systems. The power systems being displayed to the crew are beyond anything they're even able to comprehend or have seen since the unification or prior to, and twisting arcs of energy are wrapped around the gun barrels. The Speranza opens fire without any notification or warning to the Mechanicus crew, and a silent pulse is directed at the Eldar ship at the speed of light. However, even this was not enough to seemingly catch the Eldar vessel, which is able to navigate away slightly, and it instead hits their stern. And here a miniature black hole appears at that pointed target and begins dragging the Eldar ship into its destructive gravity swell. The Eldar vessel unable to escape, and its fate then compounded by a secondary temporal effect that is unfathomable to the Mechanicus observing all of this play out. The Xenos ship was then
Bro, wait, humanity had the ability to just shoot black hole weapons. Hey, Drake, thanks for the primes, bro. Really appreciate that. Welcome to the most degenerate chat on Twitch. Thank you, bro. This is nuts.
Afflicted by this deadly energy wave sweeping across it, which was shifting it a nanosecond into their past, forcing identical neutrons into the same quantum space. The Arch Mechanicus ship essentially had forced the Eldar ship.
Devin Drac, how you doing, bro? Thanks for the first time chat. Really appreciate it. So this is Warhammer 40k, and it's about the most disgusting or powerful weapons within the Warhammer 40k universe. Good morning, my Spectre. How you doing, brother?
To occupy the same space in time as itself at a molecular level, and the resulting energy released by this was obviously apocalyptic. The Eldar vessel would explode as if from within, whilst ghostly images of itself appeared to flicker like an overlaid image, blue flames spewing from the psychic wraithbone as the vessel tries to somehow tear itself away and out of these incomprehensible forces. Its strange distorted appearance came back into a solid view again, trying to rip itself away. Other Imperial vessels are then firing upon the Eldar ship, and finally it collapses in on itself in what was described as a cannibalistic storm of self-immolation. It was very difficult within all of this carnage for the Imperials to tell whether the Eldar ship had survived or not, despite enduring this devastating display of just what humanity had once been capable of. Had they been able to remain in full control of the ship's firepower and hit the Eldar ship directly, it seems that there's no doubt it would have caused certain destruction. But it's clear enough that based on this and other references, humans from the Dark Age of technology had access to power far beyond the comprehension of those in the current Imperium. We know they had experimented with and built a ship capable of travelling through time, as well as apparently using this knowledge to create weapons that seemingly were able to harness the ability to use the power of dark energy to in fact fire black holes and temporal energy waves at their enemy, which might sound crazy enough, except that this brings us nicely to our next weapon.
Eldar distortion weapons.
Now, when coming to the second choice, I've opted for a Xenos choice with the most arrogant species in the galaxy, the Eldari, or the Eldar in our filthy low Gothic tongue. Specifically Eldar D weapons, distortion or displacement cannons. The Eldar use various iterations for their range of weaponry. They're also referred to as Wraith Cannon because they're used by Eldar Wraith Guard and Wraith Knights. The D weapons of the Eldar are also one of those devices that do not walk the boundaries between lore and tabletop gaming very easily, because they are, similarly to the Mechanicus weapons, absolutely insane, but they do fit very well within the Eldar's advanced knowledge and incessant need to tinker with warp-based things. So just what are Eldar D weapons? Well, you will, I hope, remember my video discussing vortex grenades and in general vortex weapons. These are Imperium weapons that when thrown will tear a hole in real space, either shredding their enemy with gravitic power or dragging them into the warp itself, and all the horror that such a nightmarish fate entails. So keeping that as well as the Arch Mechanicus we just discussed in mind, Eldar D weapons basically fire vortex portals. They're actually fairly close to how the Dark Age STC uses its ancient weapons from the Arch Mechanicus, the difference being that the Eldar still use these regularly and also have made them basically infantry scale handheld rifles, which is completely insane. Now, given this, it's why
the reason I say the Emperor was a Giga Chad, the Eldar predate humanity by how many thousands of years? Like, how long was the Eldar around before humanity even existed? The Emperor comes in with the short-lived, or the short history of humans. He comes in and he builds weapons that not only rival that of much more ancient species, but actually surpasses them in many ways. Like, Emperor was an absolute fucking Giga Chad, bro. 60 million comes to mind, not sure though. Yeah, but we can all agree that the Eldar predate humanity by a long time. Considering that it was the Eldar that basically, bred Slanesh, and Slanesh has been around literally since humanity's dawn. So we can argue that, yeah, the Eldar is not new.
Why I say that they are pretty hard to balance between lore and tabletop. Because distortion weapons shoot a kind of beam or directed pulse that tears open reality at a focus point, and anything touched by or within that space should near enough then be torn to pieces by incomprehensible forces.
Yeah.
So its only real disadvantage is that it has a fairly short range. The Eldar have seen fit to also mount some of these weapons on their versions of Titans, which you can imagine is truly a world-ending piece of weaponry. Imperial Void Shields, in theory, should not be able to even withstand this kind of weapon. The Mechanicus have tried time and time again to replicate this, usually in appropriately disastrous failure, either annihilating all around their test or unleashing night.
As they fire the gun, you put your dick right next to the portal, so it sucks it in. Easy fucking getting off scheme, bro. Astruan, I don't know. The Necrons are pretty advanced as well, so it could actually be that even during the height of humanity and the Imperium's power. So let's go back to the golden age of technology. Humanity is so powerful that even the orcs are like, nah, never mind, bro. Let's not get into this with them. It is possible that the Necrons probably had technology of a similar level. No, it's not the Emperor who created all those weapons. It was normal humans. Panos, but no. Wait, wouldn't the Emperor have come up with most of the... the Emperor came up with almost all of the designs for most things, no? It wouldn't have just been humans. Like, if normal humans could do it, how can they not do it anymore? Like, even though they've lost the technology, surely they should be able to get back there. Yeah, the Emperor but the Emperor surely taught them how to do it. It wasn't like they just dreamt it up themselves. It was like one of them just ran to the Emperor and was like, oh, by the way, I can build a cannon that teleports you 1 second into the past so that you crash into other people. Right? The Emperor must have taught them how to do those things. 30k, the Emperor was always in the background. Before that, mankind wasn't even aware of the Emperor. So the Dark Age, so the Golden Age of technology was before the Emperor. Or not before the Emperor, but before the Emperor became known. Is that what you guys are saying? What the fuck happened to humanity then? Like, if humans could do that even without the Emperor's help, what happened to us?
Nightmare demons into reality. So I like to imagine a secure room with shielding all around it, and there's some guardsmen inside being torn to pieces by Khorne bloodletters, as an impassive Mechanicus tech is just watching on with a small clipboard, checking off a box stating Study 01623. Unsuccessful. Now, I hate to drag us out into the reality of the tabletop game, and I rarely see a situation that requires it or for me to discuss it, but please bear with me, because this is probably...
Yeah, but Spectre, the point I'm trying to make is, if you once had the ability to make... So let's imagine the Earth suffers a catastrophic war tomorrow that sends all of us back to the fucking Bronze Age or the Stone Age, right? It might take us thousands of years, but we will eventually get back to where we were today. I mean, because we had the capacity and the ability to do it the first time, and that capacity and ability isn't just gone. It's still there. We should still be technically capable of doing it. So how are we not capable of doing it anymore? Dogma holding them back now. So you think it's purely the religious aspect that keeps them from actually, finding their true purpose again? I guess that makes sense. I could agree with that, because if you look, even if you read the Dark Imperium, like the book that I'm currently reading, Dark Imperium, you can see how a lot of humanity is just so fucking hopped up on the deck of religion that even the truth that is staring them in the face is just neglected. It's just completely ignored because it doesn't fit with their religious aspect. I'd say the AI pricing was around 25k. It was 5k years before the Emperor took control. And what did the Emperor build? Apart from the Primarchs and the Space Marines and the Custodies and things. Or was the Emperor more of a experiment on humans kind of guy? Or heavily dependent on AI. Now they can't use it at all. But the Leagues of Volton still use AI. And they're technically human, no?
One of the best examples, and also primarily because D-weapons are one of those things that kind of really irk me, and I say this as a person owning an Eldar army, along with the mechanical design of old-style assault cannons, but that's really a whole other story. Now let's be real, equating lore directly to board game rules is never something that people should really think about too hard or take too seriously. But I do, because I apparently like to frustrate the hell out of my brain. I think really, it's just a little bit of fun to think these things all the way through. So look, on the one hand, it seems an outrage that some weapons are not represented properly on the tabletop comparative to their lore descriptions. On the other hand, balance is a thing. You probably have a hard time finding a game with an army who are shooting basically black holes at your tanks. Now, I apologize if my voice changes here, but I decided to re-record this entire section, because originally I'd done this very long-winded explanation about how the rules work in the tabletop game, and I thought, you know what, this is just nonsense, nobody wants to hear this. The short version is that originally, back in the 4th edition, the Eldar D-weapons used to be more representative of how you would imagine a D-weapon is, because it's firing vortex or sort of warp portal tears, alright? It would essentially, once it had hit, damage an enemy very easily, and then if you rolled a 6, it would be an instant kill, regardless of how many wounds they have, and wounds are basically a life force. A standard Marine might have 1 or 2 wounds, characters are going to have more, obviously. Vehicles will have usually a lot more wounds. So the way these D-weapons used to work makes a lot more sense, because if you get lucky, maybe if you hit it bang on, it's going to completely destroy that target. Now yes, that is very, very powerful, but it is more representative, and you've still got to be pretty lucky to get that roll. However, quite a while back they switched this around, and it's still relatively easy to deal damage with a D-weapon, but it doesn't have that immense power that kind of connects with the lore, and now it is actually more comparable to Imperial melter weapons. They just have a little bit more range, and that to me just seems silly. You have these highly advanced nightmare weapons moderately comparable to weapons used by a Dark Age tech arc mechanicus. Yet in terms of stats on the tabletop, they're classed in the same category as what is basically pimped up Space Marine paint stripper guns. Therein lies the ruination of entertainment of lore versus rules and balance. There are many other examples.
The thing is, it's not just Warhammer that does this. It's almost every game that does this. World of Warcraft does this. You have certain things that's in the lore, you know, X powerful, but in the game, not that powerful at all. So if you were to, let me ask this to chat. What is the most powerful class in World of Warcraft based in the lore? And if you know this for a fact, don't answer. But anyone that is sort of wondering, what is the most powerful class based on the lore? Not race, class. No, it's Death Knight. Death Knight is the most powerful class in the game based on the lore. If you did a pure reading of the lore and you simply compare powers, Death Knights have literally everything that counters everything else. Anti-magic shield for all shield users, healing for all physical users, all of the CC that would be needed to basically stop someone in their tracks. Asphyxiation, for example, which is considered to only be a 6-second stun, in the lore, literally just suffocates a person. So DKs are effectively unstoppable in the lore. That's why the Lich King made them. That's why the Lich King chose them as his warriors, because they are literally the perfect weapon. Of course, in the game, that can't work, because then everyone would just literally switch to DK, because they're the strongest in the game. Oh, and it also happens to be the fact that in the lore, DKs are nigh unkillable, because they can heal themselves. Pain actually fuels them. It's a whole weird thing, but DKs are incredibly difficult to stop lore-wise. So you kind of have to make concessions in order to make it fit into the game. So Warhammer isn't unique in this. It's just one of those things that I would say don't think about it too hard. Because yes, technically speaking, if you have weapons that can tear literal black holes into reality, that's pretty strong. If you made that work the way that it's supposed to work in the tabletop, everyone would be playing an Eldar army. No one would be playing anything else, because why the fuck would you do that? I mean, it wouldn't be necessary, right? Tiger Shark, I don't know all of the classes and their power levels. I know the DK one because I actually read up about this and sort of compared it to some of my other classes, but I don't know where they all rank. I would have to, like, that would be probably a good 2-3 months worth of research in order to figure out exactly where all of them rank. But I would say, just off the top of my head, it would probably be something like DK, then Paladin, then Warlock or Shaman or Druid would probably come in next, just because of what Druids are, you know, especially if you're fighting Druids on anywhere near elements. The same with Shamans. Anywhere near elements, Shamans and Druids would become pretty much an unstoppable force. Warlocks would just be powerful because of their access to the foul, and of course, if you're trying to fight a Warlock in the Twisting Nether, then even a DK would have a very hard time against the Warlock because they're literally surrounded by their power source. But I would have to say it's difficult to know. I know for a fact that DK is the strongest in the lore, and Paladin is pretty OP as well, because Paladin again has a lot of those abilities that block other abilities, so it can effectively nullify all of your damage whilst also amplifying its own. And very few other classes can resist the amount of damage that Paladins and DKs are going to do to them. And then Druids, I would probably put Druids third. You're actually right, Atradian. Thanks for the first time chat, by the way. But yeah, if you look at Malfurion, although Malfurion is probably not the perfect example of what a normal Druid would be able to do, but Malfurion is Malfurion is stupidly strong. The lore has never been able to get him right, but Malfurion is incredibly strong. Demon Hunters I would put anywhere I put the Warlocks, because effectively their power source is the same. They pull power from the foul, which is very chaotic magic, but also incredibly destructive magic. So probably around 4th, 5th. I would say they're in the top 5 in terms of power levels. But again, this is just based on a very rudimentary, very quick thing. I would have to do the research, and that's not really something that interests me. But if you want me to, I could probably sit down and do it. But yeah, I would have to read up about every single class and their power levels and the fights that they've had in the past and all the rest of it in order to figure out who would actually be the most powerful.
Examples with the single constant that the two things rarely align well. Now, I will also note that Dark Eldar use similarish tech weapons that are dubbed as Darklight or Void weapons. They're equally destructive and can also be dropped in the form of bombs that are called Void Mines. They're a two-stage weapon that will create first a bubble shield around the dropped weapon, and then a dark particle of light detonates, creating a catastrophic implosion, destroying anything within. Most Drukhari dark weapons work on a variation of this theme, and they are, as I said, fairly comparable to their Eldari counterparts. But Eldar D weapons are just another example of the completely mad, powerful weapons that exist within 40k, and that's fairly reasonable when you...
Yeah, but King Julian, Demon Hunters were specifically designed to fight demons. So they're incredibly strong versus demons, but not necessarily incredibly strong against everything else. Whereas DKs were literally designed to kill everything else. That's basically why Demon Hunter DKs, Death Knights, are so strong. Because when Death Knights were created, they were created knowing what all of the other things, like all of the other weapons that the Alliance and the Horde had to throw at them, and they were designed to counter literally every single one of those things. So in the lore, there's almost nothing that can kill a DK, because just of how it was designed and how it was made. Because it was designed for that purpose. It was meant to be a weapon against everything.
You consider that the Eldar and the Necron have existed since essentially the beginning of time, so they're going to have this level of technology and understanding at this point in time.
Oh my god, here we go. These things are fucking
Then we
boss.
come to Blackstone fortresses, which
Yeah.
are to this day still something of an enigma. And this is because they originated millions of years ago during what was known roughly as the War in Heaven. And this was the war that started everything originally between the Old Ones and the Necron tier, and later the Old Ones, Eldar, Necron, and Catan. And there's a great deal that is very, very unclear about this time, as it was simply so long ago. Now, it is said that the Blackstone fortresses were known to the Eldar as the Talismans of Vol, and that they were used as a powerful weapon during the War in Heaven against the Necron-Catan threat. However, I would note that this is, at least in my mind, quite questionable. There are large question marks over just what the Eldar during the War in Heaven were doing and what the Necron were doing. There is even some hints that at one point they cooperated against the greater enemy of the entities, the early stirrings of what would become Chaos. Now, as I say, this time period is very, very clouded to us. The Eldar, although they were seemingly victorious, the Necron had vanquished also the Catan. So depending on which perspective of those events you take as well, and most notably is the fact that the material Blackstone is known to be able to either amplify warp energies or the exact opposite and nullify it. And the Necron tend to use Blackstone to this end, as they have no psychic ability and so seek to nullify it at every opportunity, and they continue to do this in the modern age of the Imperium. Whereas the Eldar have always had a very powerful connection to psychic power and warp energy. However, the Eldar do not display any working knowledge or use of Blackstone. It's not a material commonly used by them because they primarily use Wraithbone, which is generated from the warp energy itself. And so it's more reasonable to speculate that the Blackstone fortresses were in fact created at some earlier time, and that they may in fact have originated at the hands of the first race known to have inhabited the galaxy, known as the Old Ones. And this might help to explain why Blackstone fortresses can discharge powerful warp energy, which is known to be a very powerful weapon against the Necron. Yet also Blackstone fortresses display very little similarity with
in Gothic Armada 2, these things fucking wreck your shit. They're trying to fight one of these things, fucking good luck, bro. They shoot, like, all of my ships just got fucking wrecked due to one of these.
The Eldar. As I previously explored the nature of the Eldar gods, which is also extremely vague, there is one possibility that the Eldar gods originally were Old Ones sent to help and guide and marshal the Eldar in the right direction so that they might best aid the Old Ones in their war with the Necron. However, from the little we know about the relationship between the Eldar and the Old Ones, it soured over time. And so likely the Eldar adjusted their mythology to suit this, or projected it onto other entities within their own race, or they just forgot about it and it became distorted, as these old ancient tales often can. It's possible that there were in fact no Eldar gods at all, and that it's more like their fables designed to tell the tales, and the interpretation of their cultural nature of the old times help them carry forward and foster some sense of culture over the millennia. Regardless though, the point is that Blackstone Fortress's origins are very difficult to pinpoint even from a speculative point of view. What we can know is that they are extremely ancient, likely dating back to the earliest period of the galaxy. Some imperial dating has suggested that they were in fact not actually as old as suggested by the Eldar, which would lead us to believe that they were then created by some other unknown highly advanced race that is now long since extinct. I think this is quite easily disproven by the fact that it was discovered later that at the centre of each Blackstone fortress was in fact a connecting portal to the webway. Now this certainly does suggest connection to obviously either the Eldar, but I think much more likely the Old Ones. Webway portals are not always exclusively related to the Eldar, but Blackstone fortresses have also been seen to use technology such as void shielding and inertialess propulsion, and this technology is not really used or connected to the Eldar. So it's strange because you have some elements which are Eldar-like, but there are others which are completely disconnected from them, and that kind of signifies that it's something else prior to them. So it's difficult to make any really solid conclusions as to who created the Blackstone fortresses, or why, or how they tie in with any specific culture or mythology. The Old Ones are very shadowy figures to us, and we know...
Dude, this is my favorite part of Warhammer lore. Is the lore that you don't know about. Like, everything he says here just gets your brain fucking melting. Gets you like, wait, what if there's a species that predated the Eldar? And they were super fucking powerful. And then from them, the Eldar were born. And they just sort of inherited a lot of this shit. How would you know? How deep does this universe actually go?
almost nothing about them or the technology they utilized. Beyond having some sense of psychic power, they created the proto-webway and were extremely advanced in their knowledge. They bested the Necron tier easily, and if we trust the mythical remnants of knowledge gained from the most ancient of history, it was only with the help of the Catan that the Necron were able to overcome them. So on the face of it, when all that we know about Blackstone fortresses are brought together, it does seem the most probable scenario that they were the creations of the Old Ones. The fact that the Eldar did not see fit to then secure them later or use them in any way, despite referring to them as the Talismans of Vol, suggests that they either held them with some kind of religious reverence, which again points towards them having deep cultural significance for them, but the fact that they didn't use them brings me to thinking that they actually were not aware of their power or even maybe how to use them, or perhaps they simply feared them, believing them to be sacred places of their ancient gods. Who can say? The one thing though that we can be sure of is that they are some of the most powerful weapons ever created. Until recently, 6 Blackstone fortresses are known to have existed, yet these are now all believed to have been lost or destroyed. More recently, a 7th has emerged, and this further strengthens the belief that many others may still lie out there waiting to be discovered. It's entirely possible they're out there hidden, buried beneath the planet's surface, or have been reappropriated, with some world's inhabitants completely ignorant of their true nature. The Imperium first discovered Blackstone fortresses quite late in their history during M33, and to the Imperium these seemed to be nothing more than vast ancient spaceports of Xenos origin, so they were quickly secured and developed to be used as naval ports by the Imperium. Then later, during the Gothic War and the Black Crusades of Abaddon the Despoiler, their true purpose was revealed and their immense destructive capability demonstrated. It became clear that the forces of the Chaos Marines had somehow uncovered the nature of the Blackstone fortresses and were intent on securing these powerful weapon platforms for their own ends. Just how they managed to acquire this knowledge is perhaps more concerning than their ability to use them. When powered, a Blackstone fortress unleashes immense beams of psychic warp energy powerful enough to obliterate planets and destroy entire star systems. The individual power of a Blackstone fortress can then be linked with other fortresses to amplify and power an even more devastating beam of psychic energy, and Abaddon used this linked power to destroy the planet of Phalaris II and then make the Tarantis star turn supernova. The Despoiler would then also infamously use one of his acquired Blackstone fortresses as a massive kinetic meteor strike against the world of Cadia, which ultimately brought about its downfall, shattering the planet and destroying humanity's most powerful bastion against chaos and the Eye of Terror.
Necrons,
now next we will venture into the world of the Xenos again with the curious and terrifying power of the Celestial Orrery. This is a device whose origin is not entirely certain, but seems most likely to be at the hands of the Necron. As with anything in the possession of the most ancient races of Eldar and Necron, it is always a partial question mark as to its true origin.
Bright Color, thank you very much for the follow, really appreciate that. And also, Kalen, how you doing, brother? Here we go to the orrery. So how many Necron players do we have in chat?
And the reason that I note this is because, as has been the case so often, the Celestial Orrery was one of those things that some may have suggested has been, let's say, unproven as to its actual existence. Now, I will avoid the R word, however, it's worth noting that although its only previous mention was in the 5th edition, it also appeared at the beginning of 8th, so yet further reminding that the lack of mentioning does not equal defunct, as I have so often noted. So just what the hell is the Celestial Orrery? It sounds like something the Ecclesiarchy and not the Necrons would be using. Well, it is believed to still be located on the Necron tomb world of Thanatos, and within this hollow planetary mass is contained one of the greatest treasures in the entire galaxy. It was said to have been crafted even before the events known as the War in Heaven, although that depends on which War in Heaven is being referenced, and I'm not getting into that again right now. Now, the Celestial Orrery is in fact a hologrammatic web which displays not just a star system or a region of space, but the entire galaxy itself in exacting detail. In fact, it is exacting, intricate, and records the position of every star throughout the entire galaxy in real time. However, there is a very disturbing and darker side to the Orrery.
Yeah.
For it is not merely an astro-navigational tool. The information around its operation is very vague, but it is said that by utilizing the orrery, these lights can be extinguished, and by doing so, their physical counterpart star will turn supernova far before its time. They bring fire and total annihilation to
What
any
the
world
fuck?
contained within its galactic vicinity. You may think to yourself, how did the Necron acquire this power, and why do they not use it to destroy their enemies far more readily? Again, this is somewhat unclear. However, it is worth noting that around the earliest time in the galaxy of the War in Heaven, you had the Old Ones, the early Eldar, the Necron tier, and these were some of the most powerful figures. This was before even when the Khitan began to appear. They all at this time had knowledge far outside the realm of what those in the Imperium can imagine today, and much of their lost knowledge could only be described as being like pure magic to mere mortal humans. Now, the Celestial Orrery is said to be such a powerful tool and weapon that even the Necron understand that it cannot be used recklessly. In fact, this is actually one element of the Necron. They are actually very careful about their extreme power and how they manipulate things, because for any star being obliterated, it will upset the wider forces throughout the galaxy. And the Necron, as we know, do tend to look at things on a very, very long time scale due to their relatively immortal nature. So
Yep.
from our perspective, what might appear something that would bring them gains in the short term might be seen to them as not actually achieving much or being worthwhile, and in fact actually being much more counterproductive for them in the long run. To utilize the Celestial Orrery correctly requires not just destruction, but very careful manipulation of the cascade of forces that
Can Necron procreate? Like, can they add numbers to their own civilization? Or so the amount of Necrons that is alive right now is the only Necrons that is alive. There will never be more Necrons. And I use pretty much brain dead bodies. So what happens if a Necron dies? It's just dead, or do they upload to a different body? Surely they must have some kind of failsafe. Let's say you shoot a Necron's body, so it's dead. They want to recreate their flesh forms to go back into biological reality. The robot zombies that get repaired. I know that some Necron are searching to revert the curse. But that's how the war is currently taking place with the Necrons, right? They are at war with each other, or more specifically, some factions of the Necrons are at war with the Silent King because they believe that he betrayed them. So I'm assuming it's those factions that are at war with the Silent King that wants to revert the curse and go back to a flesh form. Anyway, then or zap back to a tomb world for reconstruction, but this can fail of the time, and then they're gone for good. A lot of Necrons have not gone through their sleep well and become mindless drones, which are commanded by higher-ups. Some Necrons are fully aware and use some of their brain-dead fallows as spare bodies. Jesus, okay?
that are caused as a result of this, and it will take considerable skill and knowledge to rebalance that disruption, as well as thousands of years in continual, precise micromanagement, and there are Necrons who spend all of their time doing this. So if you were to believe that it existed at all, the Orrery continues to exist as a very grave danger to any who do not exist as animated shells of living metal, and who seek to outlast those made of flesh and organic matter. It is a weapon and a tool both, providing an incalculable power to the Necron, as it gifts them not only powers on par with the gods of ancient mythology, but also a very strategic tool to observe any imbalances in the galaxy and locate problems that they may see as needing to be resolved. Trazyn the Infinite was able to use it to this end, and it was how he learned of the deteriorating fate of Cadia. The most strange thing about the Orrery is that it exists not merely as a map, but it in fact appears to, as I say, be a literal reflection of the galaxy in real time, mirroring its changing state both in the natural order and displaying events created as a result of some unwarranted forces such as the darkness of the warp and chaos or the unrelenting apathy of the Imperium. The Celestial Orrery is perhaps the last of the truly powerful relics of the galaxy's most ancient history, but who knows what else lies out there in the darkness awaiting to be uncovered or rediscovered.
Yep. Chaos corruption. Alright, so here we go. Another weapon. One we know a little bit more about.
My last choice for today is something less direct, less physically tangible, because they're more to do with how a small spiritual starting point can have massive and powerful consequences. Because not everything in the 41st millennium is about weapons that can obliterate entire planets. Now firstly, we know that one of the most pervasive forces wielded by the dark entities within the warp is its power to corrupt. But what exactly does that mean? Well, I wanted to include this choice as a powerful weapon of chaos because I think it is commonly underestimated or simply not thought about correctly in my experience of seeing people talk about or question why it is such a bad thing. For example, I have often seen the question posed, why does the Inquisition focus so heavily on rooting out possible chaos corruption? Or the other one you often see is, why would they kill ordinary humans that have just been exposed to chaos? Surely they have done nothing really wrong. If anything, they might now be better suited to fighting chaos in the future, right? Well, the answer is, sure, that is possible. However, the risk of contamination from chaos is far more dangerous than the benefit of some Imperial Guard or citizens chanced surviving an interaction with chaos. Now, I'll also note that one other thing which is a little more confusing is the contradiction that often notes how many humans have no idea that chaos even exists, and that's often stated in a fairly blanket term. This one tends to really confuse people because many would just argue, well, how can that possibly be true when the Imperium has faced so much chaos over millennia? Now, on the face of it, this seems really implausible. The answer is really pretty simple to my mind, and I'll note this is my own speculative interpretation. The way I think of ordinary Imperium citizens and their knowledge of chaos is framed in several ways. Firstly, if you are a citizenry on a world that is actively suffering regular chaos incursion or assaults, like for example Cadia, then yes, they're certainly more likely to have some knowledge of chaos. However, the caveat there is that this is probably not what you're thinking of. Their knowledge is probably considerably more vague and more about them just being dark horrors, monsters, enemies of mankind. It certainly wouldn't be very, very specific or to the depth of understanding that we have about the functionality or the meanings of chaos. It's also very likely on worlds where there is exposure to elements of chaos that is unavoidable, there will probably be a very high degree of monitoring of the population by ecclesiarchy, inquisitional agents to ensure that things do not get out of hand. But okay, then what about other worlds? Well, depending on the location of a world, it is indeed possible that they may simply never have heard about chaos. Or if they did, it would be very much the stuff of myth and legend and stories from travelers, things that were very, very questionable and many people would just dismiss out of hand. Certainly not anything to give too much credence to. It's worth remembering some worlds during the Emperor's Crusades truly believed Astartes to be something like angels of the Emperor. So ordinary citizens are very easily confused about the otherworldly things that they encounter. And this can work obviously to the benefit of the Imperium, because should a world encounter or see something strange that is chaos related, it would be relatively easy for agents of the Imperium to perform basically a cover-up, a cover story to appease the baffled curiosity of the citizenry. In essence, they would turn and say to them, "That's dangerous thinking, guys. You best stick to your work." Lastly, we should remember that a very high percentage of the Imperium citizenry live within hive cities, and those people live very, very insulated lives within those hive cities. Yes, there were always going to be tales and stories of the bizarrity of the galaxy or even goings on down in the Underhive, but considering they are basically contained within very heavily regulated, monitored concentrations of Imperial power where many people have not even seen the true light of day, it's reasonable to assume that their access to knowledge about the goings-on in the galaxy and its weird Xenos threats is very, very limited. Now, with all of that said, how then does the corruption of chaos pose such a danger to the Imperium? If so much of its citizens are ignorant of it and there are many safeguards in place, how can it be powerful? It's sure.
That's probably why. I mean, this is the same conversation we've had about the Primarchs. Should the Emperor have told the Primarchs about chaos? And where I fall on this is absolutely. Because if you told them about it, they would have known what to guard against. Whereas chaos corruption is pretty easy to take hold if you don't even know that it can happen. Makes you more susceptible to it. I don't agree with that, Abaddon. At least not in terms of what I know just of normal humanity. Like, I get what, like, there could probably be things in the lore that makes you more susceptible when you know about it. But if you know, for example, that in the Dark Imperium book, there's this point where one of the Space Marines gets really angry to the point where they despise the Death Guard that they're fighting. And the cleric at that point sort of has to calm the soldier down and be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Your anger is serving as a conduit for the Chaos Gods. Is there more formidable than some stuff on a hive world? But if one of the today people of the Imperium knew about chaos fully, they'd be corrupted near instantly. Why do you say that, Abaddon?
Surely fairly ineffective. You might think so. But the problem with the corrupting force of chaos is that it is very, very subtle. Just like any contagious spread, the biggest problem is that by the time you have noticed its effects being observable and want to take strong action, it is already...
Yeah, but Atradian, you're also now only considering you tell them about it, but then that's it. If you educated people on what chaos is, what it does, and why you need to be careful of it, that's a whole different thing. Yes, some people might still be curious, but a lot of people are going to avoid it actively because they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to go through whatever it is that they were told they were going to go through. Specifics of it, but effectively not knowing about it gives you a sort of built-in resistance, so it's only an advantage to know about it if you have other tools to fend it off. Day-to-day people don't have those tools. I don't know, knowing testicular torsion exists made my life around 10% worse and more susceptible to chaos corruption. Why, CCS?
Spreads so much that it becomes difficult to contain, and this is what the Inquisition primarily works against constantly, to identify the spread of chaos corruption before it becomes an unsalvageable situation. So just how does chaos corruption work? How does it happen? And what are its consequences? Now I have to be careful here because this can very easily spiral into a long explanation. So for the purpose of this, I will try and summarize. The most basic and biggest problem with chaos corruption is that you do not necessarily even have to interact with literal chaos entities to become corrupted. This is why it is so pervasive and so problematic. The other problem is that you, for example, may not even be aware that you're being corrupted by chaos, and because it's such a subtle and gradual change, it's not entirely dissimilar to how Inquisitors will shift from being Puritan to radical. It doesn't happen instantly, it's a vague thing which happens over time and that you may not even be aware of. It's not exactly the same as that, but, just talking about it in principle. On the other hand, despite saying that, one of the most direct methods for corruption is still, yes, through literal engagement. If a guardsman were in battle with chaos demons and happened to catch one's gaze, their mind could disappear into the dark depths of the void and the seeds of corruption will contaminate their spirit. On the surface they would appear totally normal, but inside the seeds of darkness are already beginning to eat away at their soul. And it could be months or even years before the fruits of this corruption burst forth and form some dark cult back on a world or within the bowels of an Imperial ship. But this is one reason why for ordinary humans who have close contact with demonic entities are usually and sadly culled by the Inquisition. Yet the same is not so for Astartes, who may be investigated as they are more readily able to withstand deep interrogations. They may also then be mind wiped. And this may seem harsh, but do remember that most Astartes have their former lives mind wiped already when they first become Astartes, and so they may actually go through several mind wipes over the centuries. And this will undoubtedly alter them in problematic ways, but they will also retain elements of their personal character and remember skills and experiences. Does every single encounter with chaos mean summary execution? No. If you were, say, a guardsman fighting on a world and you're operating support vehicles or engaged in continual long-range engagements, there's probably going to be no need for these guardsmen to be cleansed by the Inquisition or designated arbiters. However, would a squad of human fighters who have been overrun by chaos entities or, for example, Chaos Marines, and then they survive, the chances are, unless they are a very important squad who may qualify for a lesser mind wipe, are going to be rounded up and executed. And as sad as that is, it's just the
I mean, in the Dark Imperium, you have Varus, who's an Imperial Guardsman, Varys and it's not Boris. It's some he's framed. They got up close and personal with some of the Death Guard, and they were spared. Like, they weren't killed, although they later became plague zombies or plague spreaders. But, you know, at least in terms of what happened to them, they were taken to Ajax, the medical planet.
Way of the Imperium, and there is also fair reason for doing this.
Yeah,
if you're an Inquisitor and you're considered
whatever it is that you become where you don't have to make a choice. Because at no point did Varys say that he accepts Nurgle. He just turned into a being of chaos. Like, he grew horns and shit, and then he was just a being of chaos. That's a good example of why they call them, as they're still corrupted, sadly. Poxwalkers are the zombies of Nurgle and the main horde enemy in Darktide. Then that's probably what he became, Poxwalker. He got bitten by a fly. One of Nurgle's flies bit him, and they didn't notice that he was bitten, and that's what ultimately turned him into a being of Nurgle.
Considering the big picture in the galaxy, why would you spare 10, 100, 1,000 guardsmen when the fate of a planet containing hundreds of billions of citizens could be put at risk by allowing them to live? For those who monitor and attempt to protect humanity from the threat of chaos corruption, they understand that the lives of the few pale comparative to those many within the hive cities, and it goes even beyond that. Imagine if just one human who has a corrupting encounter with a chaos demon or an entity or whatever is allowed to survive and return to a hive city. It could be years later that a cult eventually brings down or heavily disrupts the hive, and then an extensive purge must occur. It's not only the issue of direct corruption and its spread, but then the knock-on effect it can have and potentially create. So again, it's why, yes, it may seem cruel for the Inquisition to choose execution of loyal humans who have served to the best of their ability, but it is simply a necessity. As the quote says, "Some may question your right to destroy 10 billion people. Those who understand realize that you have no right to let them live." The point of this being that from the Inquisition's point of view, it is not even a choice to be made. It is simply a necessary action that cannot be questioned. So how can you be corrupted by chaos? Well, for one thing, rogue psykers are still a big problem for the Imperium. If they go undetected and start experimenting with their powers, it's very possible that they could become corrupted without even realizing it, or far worse, allow themselves to become a conduit for entities of the warp to breach real space and cause untold damage. And this is, of course, what happened during the Age of Strife, so it is not something to be underestimated. Now, void shields will usually protect Imperial ships from the extreme danger of traveling in warp space, but you can never predict the oddities of the galaxy, and so there's always the possibility that some humans might be exposed to warp energy or find themselves either mutated or with a strange alteration of character towards certain dark activities. Worst case scenario, perhaps even being possessed. Again, in the case of psykers who fear talking about their powers for the risk of being dragged away, or worse, they may decide to conceal those voices in their head, the voice that's telling them what to do or how to behave, all the while not realizing that they have already allowed themselves to be infected by chaos entities. We also know that emotions feed the warp, but what's not commonly noted is that you have to do quite extreme things to really capture the attention of chaos entities, even minor chaos entities. So being a sadistic Hannibal-like serial killer is probably...
Thank you very much, Cam Baller. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks for the first time chat as well. Once you're... Because Horus eventually realized the folly of his mistakes moments before he died, but that's because the Chaos Gods left him. If you were corrupted or exposed to chaos, and chaos is already talking to you, is there a way for you to turn away from that? To turn your back on it and be like, nope, not again. Fuck this, I'm over it.
Going to be leaning in the right direction to get you the attention of those in the warp, and of course any number of along those lines alternative options dependent on which chaos god you are leaning toward. We know, for example, that those suffering horrific plagues or health issues who live their days in endless agony may hear the whispers of Nurgle. Those who seek power at the expense of all else might feel themselves being guided by Tzeentch, and so on. So humans are certainly capable of just allowing themselves to become corrupted in one way or another, and it's likely that those
yeah.
who start to feel this kind of need will associate and seek out other like-minded individuals. And this is how you'll see the beginnings of a chaos cell and then a cult within a hive city. Now, as it progresses, they're going to seek out more and more extreme ways, and the invasive nature of their corruption will drive them toward ever darker paths. The worst outcome of this will be a cult summoning a gateway from the warp and enabling demons to pour forth onto an Imperial world. And this is when it may result in actually becoming lost to the darkness and a planet becoming basically unsalvageable. And there are, of course, those who might actively seek to use the power of chaos. And this is likely one of the core reasons why the Emperor deemed it unwise to make humanity generally aware of what chaos was, the so-called primordial truth. Now, this term often confuses people, but it's actually not that complicated. The primordial truth is often spoken about by the demons of chaos or the minions of chaos, and it basically just references the fact that chaos exists in the warp, and also the inevitability that humanity will turn to chaos. It's basically meant to be a polar opposite to what is espoused by the Emperor of Man. So it seems that the Emperor decided it probably wasn't best to tell humans whose nature tends to be all about selfish behavior and power over others that there was this invisible force that could give you basically anything you wanted. As some might say, unlimited power. Now, making people aware of that seems fundamentally quite a bad option, because even if not all decided to dabble in this, enough could do so to the point that it might destroy humanity, which is a pretty bad thing. This is something of a philosophical discussion, though, when it comes to the nature of humans and their lack of self-control and their dangerous curiosity, so maybe that would be fun for another day. But the point is, though, that basically chaos is all corrupting. And there are so many ways for it to happen, so many routes for it to reach the minds of mortals and then spread like an aggressive cancer through hive cities and Imperial forces, that just like a cancer, the Imperium treats even the possibility of it spreading with zero tolerance. And again, the faster they can discover it, the less likely it is to cause massive damage. They'll cut it out and obliterate any signs of chaos corruption, because the alternative is to just invite inevitably destructive consequences that can lead to the ruin of billions of citizens, even entire systems. And there is, of course, one other aspect why the corruption of chaos is so insane and also powerful, which is, of course, that humans themselves are directly responsible for the corrupting nature of chaos, because chaos is a reflection of the worst aspects of humanity, and so its dehumanizing and destructive effects are to a large part self-imposed. And that is one of the most crazy things about the nature of chaos, that you need not actually have literal contact with demons who are able to twist your mind into the darkness. No, it can just happen because of human nature itself. Someone who is maybe especially cruel, especially selfish, and will allow their darkest desires to be fueled by forces beyond their control and understanding, and eventually cause consequences far beyond their most foul imaginings. And this is why those pervasive, minimal seeds, the corrupting nature of chaos, is one of the most powerful, most insane, the highest threats facing humanity and the Imperium. As always, guys, I'll say a big thanks to you guys for supporting and watching the channel. If you enjoyed, please drop a like, and undoubtedly there are many options here that I have not covered that you believe will be insane and powerful weapons. Well, I already have part 2 well underway, so stay tuned because that one will be following here on the channel very soon. Thanks as always, I'll see you in the next one.
Dude, this was wild. But still more questions than actual answers, which seems to be the fucking case here with every single Warhammer video that I watch. Always more fucking questions than answers, bro. Always. Nothing compared to Gene Stealers? I wouldn't say nothing. Grofile, let's just see how much time I have left. Because it's not like I have unlimited time. My power's going out again today. So I'm gonna try and do at least one video a day. You know, just to start getting through a lot of these Reddit. Like a lot of these Reddit things. Because there's so many suggestions over on the subreddit. Like so many people want me to watch videos over on the subreddit. And I keep like fucking getting busy with other things. So want to get caught up with the subreddit at least a little. A new chatter came from your Warhammer YouTube vids, by the way, Echo. I did say hello to them. Have it on, didn't I? You're talking about Cam Balor. Makes you dumb where gene stealers make you your best? What do you mean? Why do they do that with your power? Because we don't have enough electricity, Fire and Lightning, to go around, so they have to wheel us off, like, you know, the country goes through these cycles. But right, there is one more video that I do want to watch, though, and it's this one. The gameplay trailer for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Let's quickly see this. Because I am actually excited for this video. For this game.
The Coronis Expanse. The Imperium's perilous frontier. A foul haven for the enemies of mankind. It is the hunting ground of the rogue traders, unique and powerful servants of the Imperium. Here they seek out new worlds and servants. Here they discover heresy and deceit. Ancient machines. Murderous Xenos.
Is it a game like turn-based combat, or is it more stop-start combat, like the original Baldur's Gate and stuff like that?
Warp-spawned horrors.
Is it turn-based? Oh, okay.
Fanatical zealots. In these dark reaches, the Emperor's light is faint. It is the rogue trader's duty to navigate through this dangerous unknown. For they have the power to feed the Emperor's flame, or to plunge millions of worlds into darkness.
You're not gonna lie, this game looks... Whew. Shit. This game looks good. I'm a huge fan of CRPGs. I love CRPGs. And from what I've heard, Pathfinder is actually a pretty decent game. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the guys that made Pathfinder that is making this game. We need more of this. Although, the next one I want to see is a Space Marine version of this. Of footage so far looks promising. Well, we'll hopefully see, right? Hopefully we'll see some of it. Let's quickly see. Alpha. I just wanna get a sense of what it looks like. Some first impression stuff here. I'm not gonna watch the whole video. I just want to get a sense of what it looks like.
Very early alpha and stuff, you know. If this is like at the very beginning, or if we are somewhere near the middle or something, keep in mind again, alpha, so they're not.
Graphics looks
if
decent.
You've never heard, see their combat, feel like.
You
get a little bit of a warm welcome at the very beginning, depending on how you think of it, because, yeah, you know, I officially said that I was on my way, and that's expected to receive some people at the port. Especially being a rogue trader, you expect a lot of political jargon, because, well, yeah, you know, rogue traders are quite important. But then it starts getting a little bit more interesting as... yeah, some people were waiting for me, and it seems that they're not happy about my arrival, and already you're getting thrown into the first bit of combat. As the ambush is fairly large, I'm not too sure if this is going to get scaled down or not. I did see a lot of enemies here, and you'll start to see them now. I will tell you that the combat itself is turn-based. This was confirmed by Alcat a long time ago, but some people didn't know. But turn-based combat is perfectly fine for these types of games. I know some people wanted real-time, but Alcat themselves said that they wanted to be able to perfect the system, so only one system was going to be there. Anyways, the usual stuff as you can expect from these types of turn-based games. You've got a lot of different abilities, you've got a lot of different attacks, depending on your equipment, of course, and what your abilities are.
There is legitimately only one thing that I hate about most turn-based games, and it is if you run accidentally because you don't know the game, you run into combat, it doesn't first give you the ability to position your troops. You know, so at least give you an opportunity to get your guys sort of spread out or stacked up or whatever the case might be before the combat starts. So the AI tend to know, right? The AI tend to know. So the guy's called the Great Book of Grudges. The AI knows that the combat is coming, right? So the AI is already positioned the way that it needs to be positioned. You, on the other hand, are usually not, which is super annoying because you can oftentimes get really fucked by that. I wish turn-based games would do a little bit to sort of... Because if you play tabletop, you obviously place your soldiers where you want them ahead of time. Ambush is another story, Grofal. Not all types of fucking... Like, not all encounters is an ambush. Although most turn-based games treat every single encounter as if it's an ambush.
For your characters, if you played stuff like Baldur's Gate and stuff, you should be okay. Keep in mind, and I can't stress this enough, that if you click the wrong thing, like I did kind of early on, you will do damage to yourself. You will do damage because friendly fire is on here. But other than that, yeah, if you plan where to go, if you plan where to shoot, remember a lot of stuff is kind of brawl based, so like you will have like a 75% chance in certain cases, unless you've got like point blank range or other modifiers working. There's also some effects and all that. But don't worry, later on we will have a full battle showcasing some abilities and all that. Right here, I'm just doing some basic shots, just to kind of get used to the game system itself. But the battle system is
the shit out of his own guy.
I was having a lot of fun here. Just from the very beginning, I still think that I was a bit overwhelmed with the amount of enemies, and I'm very lucky that I brought everyone with me, I must say, because, yeah, there were a lot of them. Now, they didn't do too much damage, at least from what I can kind of gather. I think I did okay. But yeah, just go around, shoot at the enemies, use your different types of weaponry. It's very useful that everyone in your squad seems to be very different. So you've got some snipers and long range, you've got some psychers, you've got some good melee. The main player character, when I was playing the battle, and it was...
I mean, the graphics looks good. This is combat. So let's quickly see here.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
I mean, it looks very good. But it looks like every other turn-based game. And I like turn-based games, so I have no problem with this whatsoever. Again, gonna have to wait and see, because I'm not... Jesus. The one disappointment is, as far as I've heard, there is no romance with the sister. Wait, really? Is there romance at all, though? Went to Dark Tide instead. Well, Grofile, it's not the same companies making it, right? It is two different companies. So, you know, budget isn't really a discussion here as far as who got the bigger budget. Because as far as I know, Games Workshop only pays for marketing. I don't think they supply budget for the actual making of the game. You have to make the game yourself, but with your own budget, and they'll advertise it if they believe in it. If they don't believe in it, then fuck you. I know there is with one character at least. Hopefully there's with more, because romance is such a big part of RPGs. This game is not my style. Dude, I love turn-based RPGs. CRPGs mixed with turn-based? Whew, always fucking good fun. Can get a little tedious though, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm not gonna keep watching this, but yeah, I know, you know, almost every single turn-based game that I play, I sometimes have to take a break after a while, just because if you're fighting, say, 6 or 7 or 8 different enemies, the battles can take a super long time to finish. because every single enemy has to make their move, and then you have to make your move with all of your characters, and it can just get really annoying after a while. Tend to put in more real-time mode or relaxed time mode for experienced players. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, real-time mode. Yeah, but someone already said that they. Actually, the Great Book of Grudges actually already said it, Abaddon. They wanted to perfect turn-based, so they're not doing other types of combat. It's all turn-based, so they wanted to make sure that it's perfect and that all of it works. Well, yeah, all in all, it looks pretty good, actually. All right, I'm quickly gonna go grab a drink, and then when I get back, we'll play some Dragonflight. So I'm gonna play an ad. Don't worry, Akko. Don't discuss anything while ad's playing. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be playing it. I won't discuss anything while ad's playing. I am quickly going to grab a drink, stretch my legs for a bit, and then I'll be back and we'll play some Dragonflight. So get up, go do something, because I am playing ads. Unless, of course, you like watching ads, in which case, more power to you. But, you know, I'll be right back.